All right, everybody, welcome to the second video of the series. I apologize for the long break in between the videos. As I'm sure with most of you guys out there, life got a little bit crazy with COVID-19. On top of that, I had to create a couple of new spreadsheets to better show the results I was getting. I'm going to share those with you guys as well in this video. So part one was basically everything you needed to test. This part two, is a little bit more advanced use. We're going to cover the additional automation to make things a little bit easier. Includes taking screenshots automatically of settings so you don't have to. Huge time saver. And that is actually going to be at the very end of the video. For right now, we're actually going to take a look into the spreadsheets a little bit more. Part 3 of the series, the expert use, the use of multiple virtual machines on your computer so you can run multiple setups all at the same time. That's going to be released in the next couple of days, and we're going to go a little bit into heavy detail about what type of CPU specs you need in case you were curious about that. Most of the questions I've received so far after the first video was just about the spreadsheets and how to make multiple VMs. Not really much else. So I just want to give you guys a little bit of a heads up. The next series that I'm going to be doing is basically going to be creating a full no-nonsense Forex algorithm using the no-nonsense Forex algo tester. It's going to be multi-videos. It's going to go fairly quick. I'm pretty well set up to start doing this now. The first one's going to be finding a C1, also a C1 and a C2. The next video is going to be adding in a baseline indicator. And the final video is going to be exit indicator and volume indicator. After that, you should have a full algorithm pretty much ready to go. So the number one question that I have received is, do you have a spreadsheet with more than 100 passes? The answer is yes. I have a 3,000 pass sheet. The link for the blank one and the one I'm about to show you is going to be in the description below. The reason why it's only 3,000 passes is because any more than that, because of how many cells actually exist within the entire document, Google kicks me out after I think 500,000 or something like that. So you could maybe get another 100 passes or so, but I just cut it off at 3K and I'm calling it good at that. Okay guys, so here we are on the 3,000 pass spreadsheet. We're going to go over the indicator JTPO velocity. That's the one I chose to do for this one. You can see all of my settings right over here. We're starting at 1 with a step of 1, and we're going to go up to 200. It's way more than you need to do. It's just for learning purposes. So let's head over to the profit tab, and as you can see, the passes will actually correlate with the input settings, which is one of the reasons why I kind of like to start at 1 and end at another number when I'm doing the C1 tests. So 1 and 2, we're not getting a lot of signals. Pass 3, yeah, 3,000 trades. That's going to be 3,000 trades. That's over 3 years across 28 pairs, which averages out to about 110 trades per pair, which is just a lot of trades. So the first chunk minus that past 9 is just unusable, I would say. Afterwards, once you get into about 20 to maybe 35, that seems to be a little bit of a sweet spot for this indicator. So if you were backtesting, you can just kind of start maybe around 31 or 29, see how it takes. You can see that we've got about 1,000 in the very high end, but it's more evens out around the 600 area, which is, in my opinion, pretty good for a C1. Scrolling down, just kind of comes in waves. And then around here, we're getting a little bit more. Depending on what type of C1 you want to go for, I would say testing in this range if you want like 700, 600 trades. And then if you want less trades, you could go in here and you're going to get about half that amount. If we keep scrolling down, it just kind of becomes a little bit negative, a little bit washy after that. Not enough trades to really make a dent. So with this indicator, I'd say anything after 100, you just do not want to do anything with. All right, so with this sheet, basically it's edited a little bit more. I added in the drawdown so you could see the average drawdown per pair, the highest, the lowest. Just remember to take this with a huge grain of salt, because this highest, or let's actually go up here. For 31, this highest of 14.46%, or even the one above at 20, is not your overall. That is the worst pair had a 14% drawdown just by itself. You could have an algorithm or a couple of C1 indicators that have, 3% as the highest. But guess what? That's on one pair, and if you have 5 pairs that all hit their stop loss and you're doing the 2% money management like VP recommends, that's a lot more than the highest drawdown that it's telling you. So on the side, you can see the number of trades, the average number of trades. So this is the total trades for 3 years. This is per pair. So this $547 profit, that was about 30 trades over the course of 3 years. And then, of course, you have the win rate right next to it. If we go over to detailed results, you can see all the total trades going across all the pairs. A little bit further, it goes to the win rate. And a little bit further, and it's going to go to your drawdown percentage. So the 100 pass has a whole bunch of extra stuff in the all results. Unfortunately, in order to get this to 3,000, I had to kind of cut this sheet down by quite a bit because we were reaching the theoretical limit of Google Spreadsheets. So most of the stuff that was in the 100 pass, I don't really look at anyways this early in the game, so I just don't use it. So let's go take a look at one of the pairs. So OddCAD, you can see all the passes, the profit. I really don't look at this too much because I just look at the profit overview tab. But when you see that 31 is maybe the one you want to go with a 67% win rate, you can go down here and you can see that the input is 31. And then if there was a second input, you'd be able to see that, a third one, a fourth one. When you get further into it, it'll tell you whether it was a baseline entrance, all that type of fun stuff. Okay, so let's say we took that JTPO velocity and took the settings that we kind of liked from that last one, let's say 29 to 33 with a step of 1 to keep it a little bit simple. And we're going to throw Leman trend on top of that as the C2 indicator. And we're just going to do starting at 11, step of 2, stop at 31. So let's take a look at the profit overview. We can see that adding the C2 in there really filtered out a lot of the bad trades, we think. We don't really know for sure until we manually backtest it and look at it on a chart. But overall, the profit's a little bit higher. Everything seems to be in the green. It's a total of 55 passes, and everything seems to be pretty close. So what we can do to kind of even this out is let's go to this win rate. We can sort it from Z to A in the drop-down right here. Takes a little bit of time, and it's not always going to look like this. Sometimes your highest win rate is going to have less profit because there's less trades, but overall past 48 shows that, drawdowns 15%ish, 624 trades, decent amount for adding a C2 in there, 68.5% win rate. Overall, that's a pretty good C1, C2 combo. So why wouldn't we trade this? Well, I'll tell you why right now. This is a sum of 3 years. What I have found is that a lot of these higher end indicator combinations have a great profit, but really inconsistent year over year. So now we're going to take a look at another spreadsheet that I made and go in a little bit deeper. Okay, so for single passes, Rui created this spreadsheet. There's two different types or tabs. There's the algo test, and then there's the C1 signal or baseline signal. So shows all the pairs. You paste the results from the journal here, and it populates everything. It'll give you all the direct detail, your exact number of take profits, your stop losses, your exits by the indicators, your exits by Indy wins, losses, stop line break even, all that fun stuff. So what I did was I took his sheet and I broke it down basically year by year by year so you can look at all the data. So back over here, this is a new sheet. We have decided that JTPO velocity and Leman trend at these settings, which was this guy right up here, is what we want to go with. So no more optimization. We turn that off. We're just going to go through each pair. You grab the journal, you copy it over into this year by year. So it's going to, you just paste there. This is what I like to use for verification. It'll say odd CAD, looks good, and it gives you all the details. The other thing we had to do is change the on tester to show profit. So it's going to show your win rate, a lot of extra data for all the years, 2017, 2018, 2019, and I even ran 2020 a little bit, just so we could see. So let's head over to this master list. First thing that you can see is that we have a total combined area, which kind of gives you your trades, total win rate, total profit over all 4 of these years. On the profit tab, you will see that it says 14,293, which is quite a bit different than 16,000. The reason for that is at the end of each year, all these trades are getting closed out. So therefore, whether it's a win, whether it's a loss, they're not able to run to see if they're going to actually make it to their take profit or stop loss points. And therefore, when 2018 starts, you may be getting new signals that the optimization pass wouldn't have shown you because they would just let it run from year into year. Okay, so another thing to look at is 2017, good year, 4.8K return. 2018, 7.6K return. Fantastic. 2019, 1.8. 2020, and I went until 420 on 2020, no pun intended, and we are basically at a break-even point, just a little bit negative. That's not too fantastic. If you backtested this in 2017, 2018, and you were like, I'm ready to go in 2019, it would probably have been a roller coaster and probably wouldn't have been too happy with it. So this sheet, I'm going to do another little video to show you how to populate it, how to operate it. It is going to be available blank and with this in the description down below. And just remember that this is for the C1 or baseline only. It's not the full algo spreadsheet. I honestly haven't made one for that yet. So my first thought, after being bummed out that most of my C1, C2 combination of indicators showed very inconsistent year-over-year results, is that I need to use something that can show what passes have the closest year-over-year results. So the best way to do this is with a standard deviation calculator. I do chat with a decent number of people on the No Nonsense Forex Discord server, And I want to give a big shout out to someone who wanted to remain anonymous, but he sent me his standard deviation sheet so I didn't have to make one from scratch. I did a little bit of tweaking on it to import a little bit more data, but here we go. All right, so the standard deviation sheet will basically show you all the passes for each year and the profit in between all three. So when we click on over to the standard deviation sheet, you can see 2017, 2018, 2019, the passes. We did the same 55 passes as we did earlier for this guy, the JTPO velocity and Leman trend. As you can see, you can add 2016, 2020 if there was random 2020. You can see the years change, the trade total, the yearly total per year per pair trade will all change. But the most important thing we need to look at on this is standard deviation and the profit standard deviation. The only difference between the two is that the profit standard deviation will be blank if you had a negative year. So let's go ahead and hit this button. We will sort it from A to Z because we want to see the lowest amount. And it kind of breaks down your passes by the deviation between the years. So here at the top, you can see 3.5, 5.4, 1.5. You can also see the trade total, the yearly total, and how much you should expect per year per pair. And again, that does go up if for some reason 2020 and 2016 were in there. That's going to go down as well. Let me get rid of those. So overall, not too great for JTPO and Leman trend. Just not really happy with any of those results. They just kind of jump all over the place. So looking at this, I would say there's probably a better combination of indicators out there. And the reason why I wanted to show you guys this and not something that's a little bit better is just because, you know, you guys are going to come across indicator combinations that look great on their own, and then you put them together and they're just not performing as well as you want. That's the reality of working within Forex. All right, guys, well, I'm not going to leave you on a somber note. This sheet over here is FX Sniper as the C1, WAE as the C2, and all averages as the baseline. So let's go on over here, and standard deviation, we're going to sort by profit, A to Z. And as you can see, year over year, much, much tighter. Even down here, 5.1K, 5.2K, 5.7K, actually higher in 2019 than the other two, which is a little bit shocking considering we had a lot less volume midway through 2019. Overall, just trying to show you guys that there are good combinations out there. You can find good combinations of indicators, and we're going to go into this a lot deeper in the multi-part series that I'm going to do next, where we build an entire algorithm from the ground up, and I show you my current process of doing that. So, this sheet right over here is going to be available both blank and populated in the description down below, but I kind of have to show you how to use it. So I have a little place for links. You can put the links for 2017, 2018, 2019 in there. What you have to do is basically do the exact same thing you did, but instead of setting the year from 2017 to 2019, you do 2017 in its own sheet, 2018 in its own sheet, 2019 in its own sheet. Then, here's one of them right here. All you have to do is go into the upper right-hand corner, left click in the corner, right click, you're going to copy. Once that clears, you're going to go back to here, and we did 2018, so I'm just going to do 2020. All you got to do is go up here, left click, right click, and you want to paste values only. And then once you do that, it'll populate in STDO, and you are good to go. All right, I'm going to jump into the closing remarks. Stick around afterwards to see some additional automation for the 28 pass macro that we did on the last video. In conclusion, just wanted to say that over-optimization is a real thing. Try to keep your passes low to avoid it if possible. However, I do feel that if you are using this sheet and method properly, and that your results are spread out over 28 pairs, then over-optimization isn't really going to be as big of an issue. It's much more of a problem if you curve fit your algo for 1 or 2 pairs and then try to make it work with the others. That is where you're going to see the worst results in total. Plus, think about it this way. If you have a C1 indicator and you over-optimize the crap out of it, run every setting you possibly can through the algo tester, and your highest profit and your biggest win rate is just barely breaking even, then chances are you can just toss out that indicator, because if you can't get good results with over-optimization, you're never going to get good results with it. Last but not least, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe for more videos. All right, so let's jump into a little bit more of the automation side of things. All right, so here's a little bit more in depth as to how I start off each one of the backtesting runs. What we're going to do is, this is a completely new macro. We already have our 28 pass, so this is basically just going to be played before we go to that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit record. First thing I do is hit Windows D, clean start on the desktop. Click over to Google Chrome, hit the information tab. Going to go over to the MT4 platform. Going to hit expert properties, and I'm just going to hit the Windows print screen button. Go back over to Chrome, select a cell, Control V to paste it. Go to the next one. I'm just going to select number 7, so I've got a visual marker. Windows print screen. Back over, Control V, scroll down, and basically just keep doing it until I have everything from the indicator in a screenshot in this spreadsheet. Once I'm done with that, and pretend that this was the last one that was done, go to AutoCAD so we know we're starting. I just click here for just fun, I guess. Go back to MT4, hit the OK button, and go up here, go to AutoCAD, and stop recording. So at this point, you've basically closed all the windows, brought everything back one at a time, set the symbol to the very first one you want to start with, and got all your screenshots. You can scroll all the way down to the bottom, and you go to Insert, Import a saved macro, and you just select the macro that you've already done from the first video, which went through all 28 pairs. Put it in there, and then you can compile it, and then in one click, it will close everything down, do your screenshots, open it back up, change to AutoCAD for the first symbol, and run through everything. And that is it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like and subscribe.